Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another exciting week, another exciting topic. As always, let's draw for turn. We're here to bring you commander insights and hot tech to level up your game. Each episode focuses on a different topic with our four-man pod to give you all our spicy take on what's going on. Guys, it's been a few weeks. Swazi's back. What's going on? What's new? What's fresh?
Not at work, so I'm here.
This is good.
Yeah. I was about to say the same thing.
That's literally all I've got, man. I'm excited to talk some Magic.
I think we got some fancy stuff going on today. EK, you looking pretty fancy. I heard you had something in the mail that you accidentally opened up.
I did. I accidentally opened your early birthday gift to me. This artist-proof foil signed Craterhoof Behemoth. I don't know if you ever heard of that card before.
I might have. It sounds like a good card.
That's literally the coolest surprise birthday gift I've ever gotten.
I think
and then,
sorry, yeah.
Because the best part of it was I got you something too at the exact same time, if not before, and it hasn't arrived. And I also ordered a birthday gift for myself on the same day, and it sat a town over at the post office for 3 days.
Oh, the worst.
Oh,
but I have a foil signed artist proof of Lyra Dawnbringer now.
Never heard of her.
It's not like she was one of your favorite cards in your Esper control decks in Standard.
So good.
Literally the greatest card ever. It's also the first card I ever bought, so
Very
sentimental.
Cool.
It's an exciting card. I still have to laugh at the fact of like how the package got open because EK's like, so I ordered a Lyra that you already know about, and I got a package in today, and I totally thought it was my Lyra. Turns out it wasn't. What did you?
Turns out it was a Craterhoof Behemoth.
Oh man,
the big difference.
I wonder what I'm getting on my birthday, yo. This sounds sick.
I already have your birthday gift.
Sick.
I'm gonna get you cards for Solitaire.
I will accept any and all alters. Thank you very much.
Adam, we've known each other for like 10 years too, so like I know when your birthday is.
I would say about 8. Yeah, went back in the Dota days.
Yeah,
get working on that altar for you right now.
I want a Stevie Suazo exclusive altar.
Oh, it's done in pen and only blue ink only.
Oh yeah. A blue altar for a blue card.
Exactly.
I have 4 or 5 different thicknesses of blue Sharpies. Thank you very much.
My apologies. Adam, man, what's been going on with you? How you been?
It's much the same. I did some brewing of some decks, a deck this week that I probably won't end up building, and then I scrapped the project that I thought I wanted to do, but then realized I didn't want to do that. But I'm happy now to announce that I finally there are no piles of Magic cards sitting around my house. They are now somewhere in storage. So they're in a box or a binder. So that's a big deal. Also, we had a pretty fun game Friday with my Muldrotha deck. Which won a game, which did the thing. Swazi would have been perfect. I pulled off a Muldrotha image if you've ever seen that combo.
Love it.
It was a beautiful game.
But I had to win. Yeah, the thing is, like, so for those of you who don't know, Muldrotha Image basically is a combo involving Muldrotha, Phantasmal Image, and either Animate Dead, Dance of Many, or Dance of the Dead, and Lion's Eye Diamond. But that's not enough. But in my deck, I can only play even cost spells, so I don't get Infinite Storm, and the deck only runs 5 non-land and non-permanent cards. So I don't have like a big spell to grab and cast with Muldrotha or any way to get it. So I have to like figure out a different way to win once I get infinite mana, or if I can win. And thankfully, I had a Hydra Crisis, which allowed me to draw my entire deck that was kicking around in the graveyard.
Really cool.
Yeah,
I mean, at that point, that Crisis had to have been like a 50-something.
Well, I just drew my entire deck, and that was.
Oh yeah,
the end of it.
I'm speculating because that's probably one of the bigger Hydra Crises you'll ever see.
It's the biggest one I've ever cast. I'll put it that way.
That's pretty crazy.
Is it really?
You're not the one who's supposed to be making bad jokes. That's
it was so bad I didn't want Sean to get on.
But I will say that
it was the
image. I will say the image thing is the only way the deck can win instantaneously. Other than that, like the rest of the deck is just like good even cost cards for the most part that play well in the graveyard, or I can use for multiple times for value.
I mean,
Right.
to be fair, you were running Glacial Chasm, and you could have just kept recurring Glacial Chasm.
Well, I had to get Muldroth out to do that, and I have to. It basically sets me back a land every time I do that, except the fact that I had Urborg out, so it didn't really. So
Yeah,
that was handy. Also, it allowed me. Swazo would have liked this. It lets you tap Ancient Tomb and take nothing. So it was Ancient Tomb, straight up ramp card with no drawback.
You'll love this. Yeah, here you are talking about your crazy game with like all these crazy combos, and my game 2 weeks ago was just me setting a Baneslayer Angel up against an army of dragons.
I mean, at least you're pro dragon, so like she'll live every time.
And I entombed the Baneslayer Angel like 6 turns earlier. I knew it was going to be relevant.
It was. So, get GG's on that. But yeah, no, I'm excited to play more with the Muldroth deck. That was the second time I've used this iteration of it. So,
yeah, and considering the fact that you have that baller altar.
Oh yeah, the altar from MIB, MIB altars. Yeah, shout outs to that guy, by the way. It does insane work. So if you're looking for like a new school art altar, MIB altars on Facebook, look them up. They're definitely good.
So
not MRB. That's the guy that did the Dr. Seuss altars. I do like him. That altar is also.
Yeah, I always get them confused, and that's my fault.
Well, there is a one, letter difference between their names. So yeah,
it's pretty
understandable.
confused.
But yes, MIB for New School, MRB for Dr. Seuss. So just but that's the news. That's what's been new with me. But let's talk about some news on the stack. We've got a minute to talk about various topics around the world of Magic the Gathering. News on the stack. Let's see what's resolving today. Today's date is Saturday, August 1st. That means that this coming Friday, August 7th, is the release of Double Masters, the first Master set in 2 years?
Thereabouts.
They said they said it wouldn't happen again for a while, but I guess they backed off of their word.
I guess you could say they doubled down.
I think the reason why they said it's not going to be for a while is because they wanted to figure out how to do it the right way. And if you ask me, this is the right way to do it.
Okay. Yep. So
just not the price point.
Yeah, the full spoiler is out. I think the full spoiler's out.
Yeah, it should be by now.
There's actually, and if you go to YouTube, there's actually some like pack opening and box opening videos already.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. So of the reprints, guys, which one piques your interest the most? And Eric, why is it Sword of War and Peace?
Right to the point.
It's not though.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Why is it Avacyn Angel of Hope?
That's not it either.
Oh.
No. I don't even. I feel like I don't even know you anymore.
Why is it Force of Will?
No, it's Blood Moon.
Oh, that's fair.
Oh, that's fair.
The new art, yeah.
Yo, that art is fancy.
I mean, see something that showed. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say the reason why it is Force of Will is because if I open some Force of Wills, I already have a buyer.
That's fair. That's fair.
Because I ain't holding on to those. That's a blue card.
Swazi, what reprint piques your interest the most?
Well, other than just really needing a force, I really like the new extended art full Thoughtseize.
Yeah.
Cool. As a filthy Dimir inverter player, as a filthy blue-black control player,
As a wannabe Jund player.
Yeah, whatever I'm trying to be that day, a lot of times it involves Thoughtseize. So that is one of the cards I think I've probably cast more than any card in Magic's history. And that art is insane.
Yeah.
So stoked on that.
All right. Astrals?
It's sort of Fire and Ice.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Just,
all the swords look really cool.
All the swords look cool, but like I like my little bit of red blue. I love the sword cycle, and just Fire and Ice is just it's iconic to me. It's just the most straightforward sword that does something good. It's a 2 damage ping and a draw, and that's just big, and I love it.
And it makes you pro blue, which is probably a good thing when you play with, us and our friends.
Exactly. I want to snag a copy to put it in Invictus just to have.
Yeah, man.
Oh god, so many cool arts. Which one will I pick?
Which one will you open?
I don't know. I mean, I'd be happy with most of these, honestly. I want to say, like, for me, it's pretty close, but I got to just give the edge to Blightsteel Colossus. I think these guys look super cool.
I almost said that, yeah.
Yeah, Blightsteel Colossus, probably honorable mention for Exploration, just because it has, like, that Lotus-y kind of look, which I like.
Can I pose a question to you guys? I know we're running out of time on our minute. If there was a box topper you didn't want, which one is it?
Oh God, probably Expedition Map because I have a bunch of them.
Yeah, I'd have to say that too. I like the art, but I've already got my few.
I mean, am I allowed to? If I got all the entire Urza's panorama, I would say that's fine. I don't think that's the case though.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly, that's a really interesting question. I don't know. If I got a doubling season, to be honest, I would have no use for
maybe
it.
Goblin Guide, only because I will never ever use this card.
Yeah, that's. I mean that and Meddling Mage are the two that I would rather not get. If
Yeah,
I
but
were
everything else here is mostly commander playable. You know?
Yeah,
Pretty much.
Yeah, exactly.
Even the Urza cycle is like commander playable.
Yeah, I know.
Even Thoughtseizes and Fatal Push are commander playable.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Those are the targets
Fatal
that
Push
they're gonna
totally
go.
is.
Fatal Push one. The art is.
Yeah, it's the one of the guy actually falling.
Yeah.
All right, so last
And
on
that-
the stat. Sorry,
Well, that's what I was going to comment too with the Blood Moon. The last 4 Blood Moon arts, the moon is exploding more and more.
Ooh.
Yeah,
It's actually it's I saw it on Twitter. I'm not sure if
Oh,
that's
it's
what they
getting
were
worse and
actually
worse.
going for,
Russian.
but it is exploding more and more. And it's really neat if you have 4, mismatched white border. You can trigger people really hard.
Yeah,
now.
I think that was the tweet I sent you the other day. The only that's going to be the only way you can play mono red stacks now.
Yep.
Mismatch all of your lands, mismatch all of your blood moons.
Oh man, now I gotta go buy new Blood Moons for Dragon Stompy and Legacy.
Yep.
Oh shucks.
All right. Last on the stack. Bleer is from you may have forgot, but like San Diego Comic-Con at home was this week, and Mark Rosewater did a panel, quote unquote, where he talked about Zendikar Rising. He mentioned he talked about a bunch of things that the set has, and didn't really reveal any mechanics. And only showed some card arts, one of which Ike is pretty interested in. Mainly because it involves Valakut, we believe.
It involves Valakut and Ameria in the same
smashed together, yeah.
Yeah. Which is my 2 favorite lands in all of
the only thing we know there's only 3 things that I at least I took away from the panel card like as far as cards go. Return of Full Art Basics, because every Zendikar set has that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No Eldrazi are not in this set. So thank you. No more. I was worried.
Yeah.
Oh, there's 4 things. There are planeswalkers, but we know all who we've already seen all of them. So no new planeswalkers.
I
Okay.
think I've already seen, isn't it Jace and Nissa in arts that we've seen already?
Yeah, I would imagine
Probably.
Jason are there. Yeah.
we've seen Nahiri too.
And the last one is apparently there's a cycle of 6 dual lands that are getting printed. I don't know how there can be 6, but like go figure that one out. And Mark Rose said he's been dying to print these, and this is the time. So he's very excited about them.
Interesting.
And hey, Omnath got another color.
How many more colors can Omnath pick up?
Yeah,
What do
we're
you-
running out.
What do you
Oh
get
my
this time?
god.
No, but actually, what's on that getting this time?
He is blacklist. He's 4-color blacklist.
No kidding.
So everything but black.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does.
So
Well,
4-color
good.
Omnath.
Yeah, because the last time he got printed in M20, he got blue. So
He got blue, yeah.
and now he got white. So now he's every color but black.
All right.
And
So,
they did it, and they gave him a 4th arm.
all right. So predictions for what else will be in Zendikar Rising. Stevie Swazo, go.
Mechanic wise, I think it's an obvious one, but I'm sticking to my guns. We're getting landfall again. That's just the most Zendikar thing you can do.
All right. EK?
I was going to say landfall, especially considering that all of the good landfall enablers are either rotating or had just gotten reprinted.
Yep. Astrals?
Yeah, I was actually going to say Landfall too. At least,
How
if
about
not,
something? I think it's something else.
if at least not Landfall, something Landfall-esque. Like Zendikar is all lands. There's a land mechanic coming.
I would love
okay.
something not landfall, but land related.
I
don't
think
know how
it's
we can
something
make
land related.
land
How about-
going to
how
the
about
graveyard or something would be cool.
How about
I don't know.
investigate?
I'd
Investigate
be
coming
cool
back because
with
they have to investigate all the different ruins left by the
I like that a lot.
Yeah, I'd be for it.
Zendikar was ravaged by the Eldrazi, and they're
hot
coming
take.
back.
Yeah, actually, I could be for
So they
that.
have to-
Jace, sleuth extraordinaire.
Yes, so, I mean, I know that's an
Freddie and
Innistrad
Daphne
mechanic.
go to investigate.
Well, to be fair, he is a wielder of mysteries.
You would have
Yeah.
gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you meddling kids. And
If you
No,
meddling
you're
dogs.
meddling mages. Meddling mages.
Predictions for the set? I don't know. Traps
Landfall?
come back? I
Traps
don't
come
know.
back? Traps come back.
No, I don't really want that actually. Reprint of Razor Boomerang. No, wait.
To be fair, they said that they're leaning back into the adventure, like Indiana Jones and like Lost Tomb kind of vibe with Zendikar.
Okay.
So
I
traps,
did
investigate, maybe explore. I think explore could come back.
I could see
That
Explore
is
doing that.
true. I did have a prediction before they made comments that I was thinking, before the last time they were there, all the hedrons that Nahiri made and all those things are probably still in Zendikar. Maybe they tapped for mana or something, but they specifically said this is not going to lead off of other storylines and it's going to be another standalone. So I don't think that's happening now. But I was originally thinking all the old stuff, like Ike said, all the relics are there. Like, why not?
Yeah, like they're all in the art, but
Yeah.
my understanding is they're just not going to be like a central mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're not getting Eldrazi scions and spawns and stuff like that.
Yeah, and the big Eldrazi are gone, so
yeah,
They learned their lesson.
So no Emrakul, no Kozilek, no Ulamog.
My reprint prediction though, I think we're going to get a different Iona because Iona is the Zendikar big girl angel.
I did. Yeah, she was. I forgot she was in that block. So
they're not gonna reprint like 9 mana Iona that's banned in Commander. But they will reprint
Iona in some way.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's like the other big character in Zendikar at this point.
Yep. Well, just don't reprint Razor Boomerang. That card's actually bad. All right, so that's it for news on the stack, and now we'll dive into this episode's topic: bad habits in Commander and how to break them.
Yeah, this is a pretty interesting topic. Swazi, I want to give the introduction to this one to Swazi because this was his idea for this topic.
So, yeah, it kind of started as I guess I'm Captain Spike of the group, and I'm always stuck at work watching EK play Magic or something like that on Discord, and just a lot of times I'm only half paying attention or whatnot, but there's a lot of little gameplay tips, and it's what I really enjoy watching is the mechanics of the game and helping people figure out, ways that you can not lose the game before it even starts, and ways to improve progressing through the game. If you're a deck that plays, we'll get into a lot of this, but like how to not give away information, how to give away incorrect information, things like that are all really important when you're playing a game as complicated as this. So these are just maybe not necessarily bad habits you have. They're ways to improve good habits you have. There's just a lot of things we're going to talk about here, going with what even starts before the game of Magic, during the game, and then because this is a Commander podcast, there's a very, very important social aspect of this. A lot of communication going on at the table. There's 3 other people, and that has a lot to do with habits, making it fun for everybody as well. So I think we can just jump into it there.
All right, cool.
I like it.
So let's start with some we'll call the pre-game habits that we may have, as far as, and this is stuff that happens before you sit down at the table, mostly in deck construction or when you're thinking about building a deck. So the first one is one I've been trying to do lately, and it's a biggie, and that's I'm trying not to win the game at deck building. Making decks too consistent via tutors and linear strats, and there's nothing wrong with playing a deck that's on the higher end of tune, but just make sure that like everyone's on the same page, and you also don't want to make it so that you tire out of the deck. Like I remember I had a Duretti. I had a way long time ago when I wanted to build a really high power deck. And this was after Vial Smasher. Then I wanted to build Derevi, but I wanted to do this thing was called Wizard Balls. It involved Azami and Stony Brook Schoolmaster and Intruder Alarm. So basically you would draw your entire deck and stuff like that. But the deck was a Wizard Tribal deck. And I played that deck, and like I found myself doing the exact same things making the exact same choices with all my cards every game, and I just got tired of the deck pretty quick. And I feel bad because I have a really sweet Derevi altar for it, and now I don't play Derevi at all. So the other thing, go ahead.
No, it's really interesting because you're right. And when you do that, it happens a lot with me as an Urza player. I could very easily every single game. Isochron Scepter, Dramatic Reversal, Infinite Mana, spin my deck, Fastest Oracle. Literally every game. It could happen turn 3. Like, that's not that much fun. Like,
Yeah, you want to know what is fun? It's spinning your deck for a Blightsteel Colossus, slapping some Greaves on that thing, and slamming in or making copies of it.
There's literally
Yeah.
98 other cards in the deck that are more fun, arguably. So, like, just because you have that streamlined plan, like you're saying, if that's your plan every game, you're going to get tired of it super quickly.
Yeah.
Have other options. That's a really big, important thing about having fun.
I would say for me, like the biggest thing I'm doing to break this habit of winning at deck building is I'm taking out tutors from the deck, or I'm using like tutors that are worse. You know what I mean? So like instead of using demonic tutor, I'll use like dark tutelage, dark petition, or I'll use like increasing ambition, or like final parting, or something like, or even like Razakast, right? Something like that. Like something that's more expensive, but it's a tutor, but isn't like the best tutor I can get. Basically, a 2-mana copy of the best card of my deck. A 2-mana additional copy of the best card of my deck.
Right. You're scaling yourself back in different ways in order to reduce the redundancy, but still be able to do what you want to do.
Yeah, I would say like I definitely learned a lot about this from someone on our Discord who we played with. Roska Tyrant has a mono black deck where he has has the inability to tutor for anything other than a basic swamp, and he has one of 21 legendary creatures as his commander each game, and it's always different. So that's a deck building decision he wanted to make. So he would, and he never gets tired of the deck. He's he's very proud of his deck, and rightfully so.
It'd be very difficult to get tired of that deck. Yeah, that
Yeah, because you never.
See.
Yeah, because he goes with blackjack. There's 21 commanders, and you never get to pick your cards in blackjack.
I love it.
That's awesome.
Our last game that we played against him with it, what was it? Size and Perverter of Truth was the
Oh,
general
Saison
idea?
Perverter of
Yeah.
Truth. Yeah, man, what a card.
Oh, that was such a game. There was so much draw. Oh, it's crazy.
So I would say that, like, maybe, I'm not saying don't run infinites. Maybe run less of them, or like maybe one in the deck, like one oops, I win kind of condition.
Yeah.
If that's what your group's about. I know there's some groups that don't like those things, so you maybe don't want to. It depends on your group. Maybe you just don't run them at all.
Like Gave.
Yeah, I mean, like that. Well, that's an oops, I win in your command zone kind of thing.
Yeah.
True.
I would say like an oops, I win kind of thing. Like oops, I have Micaeus and Triskelion. It's like I just win. You guys are dead. That kind of thing.
Yeah, like Walking Ballista, Heliod, like that kind of thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, like some certain combos go hand in hand, like, and that's just how it is. Like, especially for like
the piece of lettuce that fell out of the dude's sandwich.
yeah, Kiki Jiki, and like a list of other cards that is like 12 long. I think work with them.
Yeah.
100.
Yeah,
Everything goes infinite with Kiki Jiki.
yeah. Maybe you try some other stuff, or try something more like a bit more rigorous.
Yeah, or
as
even
far as that.
put in, like, I don't want to say put in like a convoluted combo, but put in like an alternate win con that you can still work with your deck's theme, right? Like,
Yeah.
I love
Approach of the
Guild
Second
Gates.
Sun.
Yeah, Approach of the Second Sun. That is a great secondary win con. If you're playing like a lands deck instead of like Valakut Field of the Dead, play Guild Gates. It's
I feel like
low,
play
but-
Maiden's End. Yeah,
yeah.
I feel attacked, but I agree with you.
Hey, I play lands too, man. I'm just saying. Sorry, I play Food Chain now, but it's Food Chain Guild Gates.
And then the other thing is, like, I think as far as deck building, maybe you don't want to do the theme that's actually the best for the commander. Example, we'll go back to I feel like I reference this deck a lot. The Corvul Shadowborn Apostles deck is definitely not the best way to run Shadowverse.
It's a really good example.
Yeah. But it's like very unpopular. I happened to get my hands on 24 of these guys, and I really wanted to use the card Blood Bond March and the Shadowborn Apostles because it's really funny.
I mean, I did the same thing with my Cathedral deck. I built an Abzan Reanimator deck because I wanted to play Brazella, the Eldrazi Angel. There's way better ways to do it, but
Great fit for it
But-
though.
it just sounded fun.
All right, so next in the pregame, and this is still in deck building, we're going to talk about playing less do later cards and more do something now cards. I'm going to give an example of two cards that see play in Commander when one sees significantly less play than the other, and you tell me and you tell me which one, and you guys tell me which one you think gets less play. Read the Bones and Phyrexian Arena.
Read the Bones, hands down,
Definitely.
not even close.
Okay, but why? Why? What
Because-
makes Phyrexian Arena better?
You think long-term value for Phyrexian
Yeah.
Arena, but Read the Bones is immediate payoff right then and there.
Yeah, so I'll just give you an example.
In a game like Commander, I do agree that like long-term value isn't necessarily something that should be as important as getting something now when there's 3 turn cycles, but 3 turns before you get another one. It's essentially 4 turns before you draw another card.
Well, and Phyrexian Arena doesn't do a thing the second you play it.
Correct.
Yeah, it's very
Yep.
reactive. It's
So yeah, like Phyrexian Arena, I pay 3 mana, I get no cards. On my upkeep,
I will get a card in 3 turns.
I will like if you put the value of a card at 1 or 2 mana a piece, it would take at least three turns for you to recoup value on Phyrexian Arena. Whereas Read the Bones, you get to see maximum 4 cards and pick and you choose 2, and you get 2 of them for the low cost of 2 life, which is nothing in Commander, really.
Yeah.
So I find myself running more Read the Bones than I run Phyrexian Arena.
Yeah.
And
sorry, UK.
no, I was going to say, and that's a conversation that you and I had a lot recently, which is why when I'm building decks, I'm hardly running any of those types of like draw 1 card here, 1 card there kind of cards. I'm doing a lot of draw 4 right now.
Yeah, because you have to wait for 3 other people to take their turn before you get to do stuff.
They might be a little bit more mana, but you have the resources right then and there. So
Yeah. It's the immediate payoff. Like, I think, like, obviously every card has a specific deck that's going to work in it, but if you're not playing a deck that's going to utilize enchantments in a basis of some kind of form, then I'd rather see like Read the Bones than I would a Phyrexian Arena.
Yeah,
Like,
let's talk about like other like do later stuff. So like let's talk about a big enchantment or an artifact that like you need other synergies in your deck to make happen, kind of thing. So let's talk about, I don't know, this is going to be a hot take, but Doubling Season. Do you need to run Doubling Season? And I say no. Usually, every token deck doesn't need to run Doubling Season.
No.
Not at all. And Doubling Season is a do later card, because if you don't get any counters or tokens, it's just you paid 5 mana for this thing, and it sits on your board.
Yeah.
And maybe you have to wait 3 turns before it unless you have a follow-up play to it, then you probably got no value out of it.
I'll be honest, it's been a long time with where Magic's at, where I've paid 5 mana and not had something happen immediately.
Yeah, like when I pay that much mana for something like that, I want something to happen right away. Like I'll put it this way. Yeah, good.
The board needs to look significantly different after I pay 5 mana.
Yeah, I'll say it like I'll put it this way. Like in Sigarda, I run a copy of Sigil of the Empty Throne because it's an Enchantress deck. But I don't put that card out. I don't put that card out unless I have a follow up to it, and I guess if I get at least 1 angel, a 1/4/4 out of it, at least I got a Sarah Angel, so I'm happy about that. If I just did that and had nothing, or if let's say maybe I'll play it if I have a couple Enchantress effects out, so I'll get some cards off it. But if I'm playing it just like straight on the board, I'm not gonna do it. So like it's also like when you play it, I'm not saying never play do later cards, because a lot of do later cards are pretty powerful.
they're really fun too.
And really fun. Like I'll give you an example, one that's banned, Paradox Engine, very much a do later card.
Most of the time it's used as a do now card though.
Yeah, I'm saying like if you see a Paradox Engine, when you used to see a Paradox Engine hit the board, things are gonna happen right now.
Yeah.
But contextually, it is a do later card.
Well, not anymore. But.
It starts with a P2. My favorite example of this is Primeval Bounty. It's I had it just pulled up. It's 5 and a green. Whenever you cast a creature spell, put a 3/3 green beast creature token onto the battlefield. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put 3+1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 3 life. So every time you're doing something, you're getting something, but it's 6 mana.
Yeah,
And, you have to be doing stuff with it. Otherwise, it's do nothing.
Yeah,
and
well, I think
I've harped on it a bunch. You're on average, a player is only going to cast half of a 7-cost spell every game. So you're going to cast a 7-cost spell every other game. That 6-cost spell, like the 6-cost do nothing enchantments, probably aren't super far behind that either.
Now, real talk though, that also comes down to just an off note. It comes down to a power level discussion before the game too.
Yeah,
If you're
no, it
relying
totally-
on a 7-mana card to win the game, and you're playing at a table with me and Adam here, you're not getting to turn 7. So rethink that strategy.
And if you're getting to turn 7, it's because someone else is clogging the wheels somewhere else, or they're dead.
Like, again, very pre-game decision. Just talk with the table before you sit down with your fun win condition to make sure you're actually going to be able to cast it.
Again,
Yeah.
this is not to say these. This is not to say these cards don't have a place, because they totally do. Like
I love these cards.
Yeah, like I think the 4 of us all run some Duelator cards in our decks for sure.
For sure. You like a deck has to have it. Like if you're
100%.
yeah,
Yeah,
there's
you have to
always-
play some. You have to play some amount of late game in Commander. It's not the
Yeah.
exception of the rule; it's the rule.
I think like Steven Swazi just said. Steven Swazi, I internet change. Anyways, what I
Oh
was
my
gonna
god,
say-
they know my name
Yes,
now. Hold on, I gotta leave.
Oh, like he was saying though, the communication part of just determining like what your deck is. Like if you're gonna have like a very quick commander game based on mana cost of the commander, let's use the game from last night we were playing. Skullbriar. That's a turn 2 card. I think I died turn 6. Granted, my hand was bad. I had like 4 lands by like turn 6 and I was behind. But Skullbriar, very fast card, very cool deck. My deck is a 6 EMC commander. I'm a little bit slow in terms of the game to get out my stuff, whereas like Rod's Skullbriar deck, I'm very quick, very fast. So, like that communication aspect of what kind of game you're looking for is kind of big in that too. Like we've touched on before.
Yeah, I would. So just make some decisions before, or like if you have this or that. Like sometimes you want some do more stuff. Like as far as when it comes to draw, I always put do more. Something that do right now in my deck. I don't put like, well, if this happens, I get a draw. I will have those cards, but like I will have some amount of I need cards right now kind of thing. Just as an example. All right. Next up for pregame, picking commanders that send a message on turn 0. So I'm sure I don't need to say there's a lot of powerful commanders in the game, and when you sit down at a table and you flip over your Zur, people are going to look at you and be like, "What's he up to?" What are they up to right away?
If it involves if you have to explain, no, I'm not that XYZ commander deck.
Right.
Chances are you're sending a message right away.
Yeah, like I sit down with Muldrotha, but then I show you Garuda, and it's like maybe this is fine. This is fine. This is like I strictly went out of my way to make it a little bit worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, or like Corvold Shadowborn Apostles, or
well,
like,
they don't know until they see the Shadowborn Apostle. But like
Sure.
Corvold will definitely say a negative connotation.
Urza does.
pretty
Kalia
negative
does.
kind of.
But yeah, I would say Kalia of the Vast is probably one of the commanders where like there's no way you can't send a message as soon as you flip over Kalia, because there's only one way to play Kalia, and that's storming the field with your giant flying beaters and trying to beat everybody faster than they can beat you up. So when you play the Kalia deck, you basically you're basically like sending a message that I'm going to play the arch enemy and let's see if you guys can stop me.
Yeah, I have very quickly realized that is how Winota and Najila work as well.
Winota, I can definitely speak, especially like when you get your attack triggers just rolling off with more than 1 or 2. Like that gets disgusting real fast.
Well, and Winota in particular also has like such a sour connotation from like standard and historic as well.
Yeah, she was really
and
prevalent.
correct me if I'm wrong. I think is she seen playing Pioneer right now as well. Like she's just a good card and
might be,
wins
I'm not
games
sure.
quickly.
Yeah.
She's just good. She just wins it. I don't know if she's playing Pioneer, but I'm definitely on
No.
sense of.
I know a lot of the legendaries that have a bad reputation from the 60 card constructed formats get a bad reputation in the 100 card formats where it might be different,
Yeah.
But point aside, let's keep going.
I think another one. I think the other commander that probably sends the worst message is any of the stacks commanders. So like when you sit down with like Grand Arter or Obixton the 4th, you send a message to everyone they're in for a not fun game.
Or like maybe, but again, that's like rule 0. Have the discussions. Like maybe like people are into that. Like trying to get out of those puzzles and stuff like that.
So the good news is we live in a format where we have lots of choices. So example, if I wanted to play my Corvold deck and I didn't want to give another connotation, like to change it in a way and keep the Shadowborn Apostles, and wanted to make sure that people didn't hate the deck as soon as they saw me flip over my commander, I could run like Sequar Deathkeeper or something like that.
Really fun card.
Yeah, really fun card. Or I can run Shattergame Bros or something like that.
Totally didn't just brew a deck for that last night.
We totally did that, by the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, just look at your other options. Maybe consider a commander that's like maybe it doesn't draw as much attention. Or choose those. Try choosing commanders that are a little less powerful as commanders, and like they may be more fun. And it doesn't hurt to give it a try.
Yeah, there are certain commanders that no matter how hard you try to not make them good, they will still be really good.
Yeah, it's just the nature of how good that card is and how it performs and the synergies that exist with it. You can't, if a card is just good and has value, you can't do anything about that. That's just the connotation of the card. When you want to build a deck with that card in mind as your commander, you just accept that's what's going to happen. You can try to change the theme, you can try to reduce it down, but just accept it's just going to be good and it's going to happen. That's the way it goes.
Was your commander printed in 2019 or later?
I mean, actually, though.
Yeah, true, though. M21 specifically for certain ones?
Yeah, there's some good ones.
Jumpstart.
All right. So next in pregame, we have playing less synergies and more straight up good cards. It's really easy to jam your deck up with synergies. But sometimes you don't have all the pieces of your machine moving, and you need to get things rolling. You just need something that's just straight good. Yeah. Like, synergies aren't everything, and every deck should have a solid backbone or foundation. Especially if your deck is quote based around your commander. And I think that's a trap people fall into. Is like, what happens if your deck doesn't have your commander? Did the wheels totally fall off? You want to go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I've won more games with my commander in my command zone than on the board. So
it means you're doing something right.
Is not everything.
Yeah. Well, no, we've been. So I've been playing with a bunch of my other friends on Tuesdays, and there is one of our friends who plays Gishath. Gishath's an 8-mana commander. Yeah, if you lose that thing once, it's just done. You are not going to be able to cast it off.
It's unlikely you're casting him again.
That's and there are a lot of commanders that are like that. Where like the commander is just like the icing on the cake payoff. It's what else is in the deck that's winning you the game. Like you're just playing good cards. They will synergize with each other
and do that a whole bunch of times and infinitely get rid of my entire deck and have a big board and then do the thing I need to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
But I try to include cards that are just flat out good now. Don't need anything in to surround them. They're just good.
Yeah, I think that's a big deck building mistake. It's okay to pay mana and play a good card.
It doesn't have to be you don't have to worry about a synergy with deck. Like I can play Eternal Witness in my morph deck and not play Den Protector, and it's fine. You know what I mean?
For sure. It's kind of like looking at if we touch on like the commander power levels that like Channel Fireball put out, right? Like power level 2 was if your entire commander deck revolves around you winning with your commander. Sure, that's fine. Sure, you can do it, but power level 2 was if your deck
really. So you're telling me my Sigarda deck is power level 2?
No, that's not. That is not the rule. There are exceptions to the rules, but typically if your deck can't win without a commander and 3 other people can kill your commander, it's probably not way up there.
Yeah. Sigarda aside. But like if your entire deck, like Voltron decks, I should say just in general aside, if your deck only revolves around needing your commander out there to do everything you want to do and you can only win with your commander, there's probably something not going on right.
Yeah, I like having decks that are robust. So I don't necessarily have to have my commander out to do things. It's just there's more of he turns the volume of the deck up a bunch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'll let EK say something on this real quick, but I know it can be a very combo-y format. There's literally thousands of cards to choose from. You can find anything you want to work together. I think EK's favorite way to win, I think you said it before, is turning things sideways. And the combat step is often overlooked in Commander. You can just attack your opponent.
A lot of angels have vigilance, so I'm not turning things sideways. I'm just pushing them forward and saying, Math is for blockers, figure this out.
You actually have a combat step. I skip over it. So.
Yeah. I want to say, I guess that also goes say, I would say if your deck cannot win without using the combat step, that's also probably another faux pas for pregame. Like, so make sure I would say make sure there's at least something some way your deck can compete without using the combat step. If there for some reason you get locked jammed up.
Yeah,
like,
if you get like Glacial Chasm looped or something like that.
Yeah, or like someone has like a giant pillow fort up.
Which happened a couple weeks ago, by the way. And you know how we ended up almost winning? By dealing 0 damage to them and using Sword of Body and Mind to mill them.
That's amazing.
That'll do it.
That'll do it.
All right, but we're talking things like, okay, so like you're playing like a Dragon's deck, for example. So maybe you want Warstorm Surge in there so you can go over the top, or Terror of the Peaks so you can go over the top.
Yep.
Yeah. What's the card? The Tempest, the enchantment.
Oh, Dragon Tempest. Yeah.
Dragon Tempest.
Or like Sarkhan's Unsealing or something like that.
Great suggestions. Yeah. Like there's ways to win out of a combat step with your dragons.
Mm-hmm.
You just Scourge of Valakus.
Scourge of Valkas, yeah.
Yeah, like that's a great example. It's a creature body, but same kind of premise.
And the last one is I would call not avoiding self-damaging cards. These are ones that like may cost you to lose a resource or pay a resource for something. No, a non-mana resource. People will sometimes avoid these kinds of cards, and I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with them. And it's okay to take a hit to gain an advantage.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it earlier, like Sign in Blood, Read the Bones, Necropotence is like the big one in this category.
Yeah, it just happens that we just had to play in a format where you have twice as much life as normal, so Necropotence becomes extra good.
Yeah.
It was good to begin with. If I had 10 life, I'm still paying life, okay? So
Yeah.
I'm still paying 9 life and going down to 1.
yeah, every time.
But there's definitely players that will never ever play something that sacrifices, never ever play anything that they have to pay life for.
Yeah, like block with their tokens and stuff like that. You have just learning when it, and part of that is like learning when it's okay to take a hit. Like knowing, hey, I could take this 6 infect damage. It's fine.
Yeah.
6 isn't
the only point that matters is the 10th.
That's exactly right. Like it's important to know what resources are available to you, and that just may be a simple someone needs to tell you because you're a little newer to Magic, but your life is a resource. Period. Like use all of it except for one.
Yeah.
And if you have a Platinum Angel, use more than all of it.
Yeah. No,
I will second that.
What's that thing we always say, Astrals? There's 2 life totals in Magic.
There is 2 life totals that matter: 0 and the one that keeps you alive.
Yeah, 0 and not 0.
Yeah.
I actually just had a crazy thought, and you guys kind of hit on it. And I think the reason why a card like Phyrexian Arena is as popular as it is, like, oh, you got 40 life, pay 1 life, draw a card. You can take a lot of
39 to go. Yeah,
exactly. So I think this particular concept is a double-edged sword in some cases.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, there's times when it's going to bite you in the butt when you are down to that last life total. And your Phyrexian Arena is going to go off. But
example, I'm at 6 and I drew an Ancient Tomb. I can't really use this card very much, but here it is, you know.
I think the number of times that it puts you in a bad situation is probably going to be far outweighed by the times it puts you ahead in the game. But you're absolutely right. Don't rip your card up and flush it down the toilet because you lost a game.
Yeah, so just be afraid. Don't be afraid to use all the resources available to you, especially your life total, your infect count, your board state, that kind of thing. Like I will absolutely use anything I can to try to stay in the game. I'll put in my dukes and make you take me to the last bell. So
I think I just thought of the biggest one. I think a lot of people are afraid to discard cards.
That's true. Yeah. I think that means maybe I'll piggyback on this. That basically is what drives up the price of Reliquary Tower for the most and Thought Vessel, because people go on a format where they could possibly draw a lot of cards, want to make sure they never have to discard. But in my opinion, like the discard step is the hand sculpt step. I get to pick the cards that I want in my hand, and then I have to craft my hand based on what I've got.
Yeah, and I think that's why so many people are afraid to play like looting cards and rummaging cards, stuff like that. Because they're like, I have to discard cards. Oh no.
Yeah, but that's like
rummaging. Rummaging specifically is one of those I have to discard first kind of things, and people just don't want to pay that cost up front.
And that kind of
Uh,
comes with the stigma of it, though, right? Like they don't understand what an additional resource they could be giving themselves, depending on the color they're in. There are
Well-
so many ways to gain access to what's in your graveyard to make it, instead of being a disadvantage for discarding, it's actually an advantage.
Yeah.
The graveyard's also a resource too.
Yeah,
so if you're
100%.
playing 40
And
cards,
a lot of decks, the graveyard is your second hand, if not your better hand.
exactly. If you're
Yeah.
drawing 40 cards, instead of thinking, "Oh no, I have to discard 33 cards," think, "Okay, which 33 cards am I going to need in a little bit that I'm just going to get right back?"
Yeah,
Right.
which 33 am I putting in my other hand?
Exactly.
This is my decree to everybody. You do not have to run Reliquary Tower and or Thought Vessel in every deck. There are places for these cards.
I don't run them in any.
Yeah, I cut them from all of my decks
Yeah.
except for one.
Yeah, I want to say, Joyride definitely runs Reliquary Tower and Thought Vessel.
I run it Feather because I'll casually draw 56 cards and need to hold all of them.
Which is
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so let's move from the pregame aspect to gameplay aspect. So these are habits you want to break when you're sitting down and playing at the table with your friends. These are just things in gameplay. These are non-social things. The first one is rushing the table. I find that a lot of people are like, "Are you done?" Is like, "Are you done yet?" Or they'll do a bunch of actions really quick, and there's three other people there looking. It's like, "Whoa, we get to play too."
Yeah, we have to go around the table for everything and respond to everything technically.
Yeah, everyone gets priority whenever spells cast or moving phases. So everyone has a turn to do something. So just try to be mindful of that.
And I mean, Steven was telling a really good story about this before we started the show. He played with me and my old play group when I lived in Indy, and they were very, very good about making sure that the game was played properly.
It was literally to the point like you'd play your land and he would ask any responses before moving to combat. And all three of us would say no. Move to combat. All three of us would say no blockers. It was like honest to God, like playing the way it should be, but like vocal Magic Online. Like everyone got to click OK to pass the phase.
Yeah, you had the checkbox for like turn on all stops, and everyone had that on at all times, and you really learned how to play the game.
So that your Emrakul friend, I forget his name off the top of my head, had a token that had an F6 key so that he had no responses.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah, well, and I mean, that's something that we would do. Like, just when we're just playing fast Magic, you put out the F6, and you're like, we're good. Just go. You have a Rhystic Study out, you have a Smothering Tithe out, F6. Just don't worry about it. Get your card, get your treasure, stuff like that.
But at the same token, also, I think, Sean, I'll let you take over. You were saying don't just run through your combo, though, because somebody may screw you over right at the very last step and you can't recover.
Yeah.
Like, it happens all the time with combo decks.
Oh, it does for sure. Like it happens. I've definitely done it before. You just are so used to doing your combo. You go step-by-step process, you run it through, and you're just like, oh, I win. And then someone's like, well, no, actually, I have a response.
Yeah, I was going to respond to 140 triggers ago, practically.
Yeah, like you want to be respectful to what's going on. You may know your combo, you may know it's flushed out and it's gonna be good, but you still
you may know that you have the protection for it anyways, but you still have to run through that step.
Yeah, give players the option. Maybe they have double counter spells. You never know. I always joke when our games that Pact Negation's coming out.
Yeah,
One of these days it actually will, but
one of these days we'll see it. Yeah,
Pact or
Air quotes, they always have it.
yeah.
Split second cards are the big one. Like, that's a thing that people forget exists.
Yeah. Like there's tons of free potential counterspells that could come up and whiff up, and just because someone may have one, they may have two, they may have three responses in other shapes or forms. There could be a sack trigger that they have to try and get a card to find an answer to it, right? Just because they don't specifically have a counterspell in hand doesn't mean there's other triggers going off that maybe they can piggyback onto your combo or have a way that maybe helps them to win. It's just allow the responses to happen. Don't just rush through and force the table to just be like, you win. Give the other players the chance to do their responses. Maybe they'll steal the win from you without you knowing. You never know.
But like on the other side of the same, like literally the exact same coin, there are like optimized like ways to optimize the play experience and shortcut so that people aren't sitting around 15 minutes in between every action.
Absolutely.
All right.
So like,
yeah, go ahead.
you ruined my transition, Adam.
Okay. Do the transition.
So thought out. Yeah. So as I was saying, you know, at the same time, there are things that you can shortcut and, you know, increase the speed at which the table is getting played. So, you know, time is a valuable resource and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
people have lives. So
Yeah, when I go to a Commander game, I'm going to play Commander, and I want to play more than one game. Like, absolutely.
So the easiest example that we thought of was if you have multiple search effects or a follow up to a search, just shortcut and do both instead of doing each individually. But like, give your opponent that opportunity to respond and say like, does anyone have a response to either of these? Okay, I'm gonna go get my 2 fetches at the exact same time, or something like that.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna crack my fetch and resolve my Sky Shroud claim at the same time and grab my 3 lands.
Yeah, I mean, even comes back to, like, let's say demonstrating an infinite mana loop. Do the loop once. Ask if there are responses. Say how many times you're going to demonstrate the loop. Someone may choose
Because you do have to set a limit to it. You technically can't say, "Oh, I just go infinite." You do have to name a number.
Yes, pick a finite, pick a very large number, but pick a number.
Yeah, like I make 1 million mana.
Yeah. And someone may be like, you know, on the 100th time you do the combo, I decide to counter it and stop it there. For, I don't know,
And
whatever
fizzle.
reason, but...
Yeah,
but,
and like, I don't know, fizzle the entire thing.
yeah.
There's definitely reasons, for sure.
Yeah, but just reiterate it. Find where you can shortcut that's not going to impact the play of the game and still ask for responses. It's a two-sided coin for sure.
It boils down literally all down to communication. Just talk with the people you're playing.
Yeah.
Like, that's all you need to do. The entire time during Magic is talk.
You're playing Commander, not Solitaire.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's both, but yeah.
Yeah. You can't have a little bit of good without a little bit of bad, though.
Little yin and yang.
Okay.
All right, so the last one for gameplay we had is... you guys might have to explain this to me. So I'm tapping mana inefficiently?
Yeah, so this was going back to the kind of spiky nature of me just kind of coaching EK and just hanging out when I'm at work and stuff. Is that mainly I'm gonna say, speaking as a blue player, is something I'm very conscious of. But white, green, anything with red, lots of responses. You want to
any deck that's playing on the stack. Let's just blanket state it that way.
Yeah, you want to be the spell counter spell costs 2 blue. Things like that. It is understood that I have that in my deck, and air quotes, I always have it. So if I don't leave mana up for that, or if I'm not thinking, okay, I've got this spell in my hand I need to maybe cast later in my deck, or he's afraid of me interacting with him, tap your mana in a way that leaves that as an option in their head. You may not have the card. Let's say you definitely don't have the card. You want him to be playing around it at all times, though. Make his life harder. So I think the tapping mana inefficiently is just more of a mental heuristic for playing the game, and just give yourself the most available options, and it clouds your opponent's judgment and what they're going to be.
Heuristic, a big word we're using. We're
Yeah.
a podcast now.
Okay. Heuristic is a shortcut that you've done over time. You just don't think about things anymore. You just do them. So you want to just make that a second nature thing. Is just always give yourself the most options available. Even if you don't have it, they don't know that.
Right.
Yeah, and the easiest way that you always explained this to me was when possible and when efficient, tap your basics before your non-basics that produce multiple colors of mana, stuff like that, because you're technically leaving yourself more options by leaving your dual lands or your tri-lands untapped.
Again, unless you're playing against a Blood Moon or something. But yeah, there's certain circumstances that would not apply. But yeah, give yourself 2 colors option instead of 1 color. Duh.
Like,
definitely.
Don't just corner yourself into counterspell. Give yourself Dovin's Veto mana or absorb mana or render silent mana.
Yeah.
Know what they're afraid of and make sure it's an option still.
Yeah, exactly. Like leave up Anguish Unmaking mana while still leaving up the ability to, like, I don't know, Path or Cyclonic Rift or something like that. I don't know if you're playing Esper or something.
You could go into a 2-hour masterclass on waiting till your opponent's end step to cast something. So
Yeah.
like, we're not going to get into that right now, but just give yourself the most options at every moment of the game. That's really what it boils down to.
For sure, more options are going to give you a better chance to actually do more things. You're not tunneling yourself. You're leaving yourself open in different ways to take different actions. That might just potentially be the swing turn. The mana you will leave open for a Dovin's Veto over like a counterspell or a negate might just, or even a Render Silent, might just be the swing turn you need to bring in a win or to push someone else out.
If I had a nickel for every time I was like, hey, I could have done something about that if I had tapped my mana differently playing this creature during my turn. If I had a nickel for that, I would be a very rich man.
Yeah.
You'd have like a fourth set of those artist-proof Crater Hosts.
So much so that like I can't cast a spell now without just at least glancing at the table and looking for an untapped island,
Yeah,
or an untapped blue source or something,
to
know what's
I'll
going to
double
happen.
down. I look at every single thing that is untapped.
Yeah,
I am that OCD because you have taught me to do that, and like I appreciate that.
Cool. So so that's pretty much all the gameplay stuff. So let's go down into the last thing, which is the social things that you can try to improve. You can, maybe bad habits you're doing in the social aspect of the game, and you can try to fix. So the first one for me is something I've had to work on, and I'm still trying to improve it.
guilty as charged.
Not allowing players to do their thing sometimes, and always doing the optimal play. You don't always have to do the optimal thing. You have to give it. Sometimes I think EK brought this up. You have to give action to get action. That's a poker statement.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that means let's say we'll be playing for us, and Sean's having a rough night. He hasn't gotten to do anything, and like he's playing his Niv deck, and he's about to resolve a food chain, and I have a counterspell in hand, but you know what? I'm just gonna let it happen, kind of thing.
Yeah. Like
I'm not saying that happened a lot, but like 5% of the time,
you were going to even spike your like no remorse sort of thing. I was gonna say he's playing Gishath, and Gishath's about to cost 14 mana, and I let it resolve, and I instantly path it.
Yeah, or you just let it happen.
Yeah,
I have had that actually happen. I had Gishath.
I know. That's why I brought it up.
That's not saying let people walk all over you and like always do suboptimal plays where you can, but like at least like I would say like 5% of the time it's okay to do that at the very least.
Yeah.
Think about it. The commander, there's 4 players. Your expected win rate should be 25% of the time.
For sure.
You sit down and play 3 games of Commander once a week, and you lose all 3 games, you're not going to be playing for many weeks. Like, it's not going to happen. You're going to get tired of losing.
Yeah, or even if you don't get to do the thing your deck does. Like, I don't even have to win anymore to be happy. If I did nothing or I just got denied at every corner, then I don't feel like I don't want to play.
I think that's a much better way of saying it. You definitely don't have to win to have fun. But yeah, if you're not able to participate, per se, that's not fun.
Getting like a fighting chance. Like, let's talk about the Muldrotha game we were playing last night. Like, Adam's board was like cleared up because of the artifact and set back and remove, but he was just
that's actually a good example.
But we didn't push Adam back. We had him a chance to keep playing and go on. Like, he had Glacial Chasm up, so I'm playing Vivictus. I want to attack and get my sacrifice triggers, but I kind of feel bad because I have to attack with a 6/6, which is a lot of damage. So with Adam, I made him the deal. I could swing in, he would take damage, and I would let him choose his sacrifice triggers. Like, Adam got to build up what he wanted. Everyone got to do some cool stuff with their deck. I got to do my sac triggers on Vey, and we had a great game. There was a nice social established contract. We each got through. All of our decks did their things, and ultimately, like, Adam won. But we weren't, like, letting him get the win. It was an effective...
No, it wasn't for free, that's for sure.
Yeah, like, he was at 6 life, like, literally. I could have been the optimal play and be like, I kill your Glacial Chasm, and he only had a Hydroid Crisis to block, and, like, at that point, I had a board of, like, 12/12s and 5/5s and a 6/6. Like, I could have done the optimal play and kill him, but, like, I want to see Adam's deck do stuff. I like doing stuff. I just play Vey because I love big stuff.
You guys had a mutual understanding that was, we don't care who wins. We just want to see something cool happen.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think that's something that people don't do enough.
I think the other point was that this is like I had the Glacial Chasm out, and James had the exact right answer for it. He had Malignus, which mean it would have been Glacial Chasm did nothing, but he didn't use it on me. He didn't come at me hard enough to kill me.
Right. I think he swung at me with a 32 Malignus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was big.
Malignus is quite the card in Xenagos.
Whoa.
But like, yeah, that's a great example. Like, James wasn't out to like kill Adam. He was just like, I'm
Yeah,
playing.
he
big
had
stuff
every
to
opportunity
win.
to do that. Yeah.
Like,
But he didn't do it, and that made the game a lot better for me because I was feeling kind of bad because like for the like I had a little board set up. I was about to do stuff, and oops, Vandal Blast. There goes like three mana just went away right there. I got my Mesmeric Orb crossing gripped. Feels real bad. It's just like it was tough. It was a tough game for me. But thankfully, the table is nice enough, and understood that hey, I like there's 4 people in this game. We all want to do our thing. Let's let Adam do his thing a little bit longer, at least.
Yeah,
and it ended up working. It ended up working out. It was they gave me
a little longer.
They gave me I got kind of lucky. It was one of Astral's sack triggers for visitors turned into a Wishclaw Talisman, which helped me get where I needed to go.
That'll do. Okay.
Yeah.
Which actually turned into a World Shaper, which helped me get a whole bunch of land in my graveyard back because I had missed 2 because I'd filtered some land into the graveyard with Tamiyo Collector of Tales, so that helped a bit. So then I was able to get back in the game and like have resources again, as opposed to not because they'd all got blown up by Vandal Blast.
Yeah.
All right. So next in the social things you should try to improve that mistakes you're making or bad habits. Not being forthcoming about your deck's power level. If you downplaying your deck's power level is kind of a big no-no. Like, community needs communication, and for a good game, everyone should be aware of what to expect in a certain regard with your deck. So when we sit down now, we're talking about what the deck does, what kinds of cards you can expect. And people can have the option to say, I kind of don't want to play against that.
Yeah.
If you want to really
or I'll pick something. I was going to play this, but I'll pick something different.
If you want to really in-depth talk about this, you listen to the last episode where we talked to Saucy Mailman for an hour about this. And
Yeah.
I didn't want to beat a dead horse here, but definitely the only thing I can say is if you're on the edge, like if you're not sure if your deck is a 5 or a 6, say 6.
Yeah.
The worst thing that can happen is you're going to be underpowered. You don't want to be the one dominating that table that makes everybody filled with resentment. Okay.
Yeah.
You would rather get stomped than be the pub stomper. That's the way I look at it.
For sure. It's better to overestimate than underestimate.
The yikes kind of mentality to have it in some regards, but again, I would rather get stomped than be like the one-sided winner, because that's just not fun.
Yeah.
That being said, you can totally
It leads to a more uplifting conversation after the fact.
Just because you said your deck was the right power level 2 and you just happened to draw your nuts hand and win doesn't mean you were overpowered either. Keep that in mind. Like, just because your deck did what it was supposed to do doesn't mean it's too good. It just won the game. Just move on, play another.
Yeah.
Okay, so that will happen.
You just want to be as truthful as you can about a level. Don't try to say something that it's not. If you're playing a 9 and you know it's a 9, don't say it's a 6. Like, a couple weeks back,
Say
I
it's a
played
10.
Yeah, like I was playing against a Golos deck, and it was introduced to me as a Golos Shrines deck. Turn 6 comes around, and I'm seeing 3 Nyxbloom Ancients and tapping in, and I'm like, I thought this was Golos Shrines. And
There's one shrine in the deck.
Well, there were the shrines in the deck, and the person was like, "Oh, this almost never happens. Like, this is just a god hand." And I'm just like, "Yeah,
Okay.
but you didn't say that. Like, you were running like a Nyxbloom Ancient duplicate package to get 27 mana off of 1 land because you have ×3/3, right? So,
Wow.
be honest. Like, shrines is cool, but at least tell me there's like another combo in it about like Nyxbloom and mana outs. Like, don't.
Yeah, I'm gonna think completely different about your deck if it's Golos Shrines versus Golos. I tap all of my mana for 27 mana and then just drown you in playing my entire deck in one fell swoop.
Basically.
Free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So next, this is definitely so a big part of Commander is deals and making deals with other players. Like there's bargains can be made. Some players don't like them, but I will say they do appear in Commander, and if your play group uses them, you should always don't always take the opening offer of a deal. You have the ability to negotiate, and there's a window to negotiate. So like say. I'll say this like EK, like I will get rid of this problem, but you can't but you can't attack me for 3 turns. EK can respond. How about
an accurate way of how our deals sound too?
Yeah, but EK can follow and say, how about instead you deal with the problem, but and it's two turns because 3 turns is like we can look at my board position and say maybe 3 turns is too much for him to do stuff. I don't think I'm gonna have a board in 3 turns. So or something I think you're gonna surge ahead in 3 turns, something like that. So maybe
the game might be over in 3 turns.
Yeah,
easily.
So so that's the thing. You never take the first offer. If someone wants to do something, hey, if I do this, will you do this? And you say yes, then there it is. That's the contract. That's the deal.
Got 2 other witnesses.
And then like. Going off of this, if you make a deal, keep your deal.
Yeah, never. If you make a deal and then people don't or agree to a deal and then you back out, double back on it or do the thing anyway, then people will probably not make a deal with you ever again.
Yeah, you become less trusted.
Or for at least a long time. Yeah,
Definitely.
People won't trust you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one thing to make a deal and find like a loophole. It's another to completely back out on a deal.
Yeah,
so
disregard it, like haha.
Yeah, like so in a game last night in our Vivictus Arcades Muldrotha game, I made a deal with Matt, the Arcades player. He was like, I will not remove Arcades if you let me choose my sacrifice targets for 2 turns. And I'm like, sure, that's okay. You can choose the sacrifice targets. He did not say anything about me playing Rakdos Showstopper to try and blow up the board.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, that was technically not part of the deal, and deals always have little openings where you can be exploited. But if it wasn't part of the deal, then
we could do a whole episode about making deals and the art of the deal.
Mm-hmm.
Leave a comment down below if you want to see that.
And the big thing when it comes to making deals, never ever give a player a blank check.
Oh, those are scary.
I hate blank checks.
They're the worst. They're the worst trade deal in history.
So a blank check for those who are listening is when you say, "I will do." If you do this, I will give you a free whatever favor at any time at a later time in this game, like a golden ticket, basically. Every time I've been involved in this, it's ended very poorly for the most part.
The golden ticket never happens,
or never happened.
Yeah. The game, it's like, hey, you're the only one who can do anything about it. Remember, you gave me a blank check earlier in the game. You have to let this happen.
2 other people who are adamant about you not getting that favor later on also.
Yeah.
So they're going to do everything they can to make sure you don't collect.
Yeah. A deal like that is going to turn the game into Two-Headed Giant, except it's like 2v1v1 because you're still trying to beat the other person that you made a deal with. That's even worse.
You're singling yourself out, actually.
Yeah. And then the last bullet point we have here. You're sitting down at a table with your 3 friends. It's probably a good idea to allow everyone at the table to have the same amount of game time. So when you sit down and spend, this is just a blanket statement. Through deck crafting, gameplay, whatever, everyone, there's 4 people at the table. Everyone should be able to play 25% of the total game time. When you go solitaire or take a really long turn or take extra turns, which is a big reason I don't play many decks with extra turn spells. But I do play decks that can somehow fall into a solitaire situation. But I always make sure that that's okay before we sit down.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I try to make sure that I'm not bogarting everybody's time with what I'm doing.
The solution that I came up with for this to break this bad habit was to keep a chess timer off to the side of players, because this is something that MTGO does. If you look by your name and your life total, you have an hour chess timer right next to your name when you play Commander. So you can tell how long the different people in the game have taken to take their times. If you notice a huge disparity between some of those numbers, maybe you need to rethink a couple of things. You know, bring a different deck, or I don't know, play faster.
That's not to be said. Like, my deck, very frequently, my decks go land path. That, of course, I'm going to have less time technically on my turn. That being said, I'm interacting on y'all's turns, so I'm not involved. So that's not an issue. I'm getting game time. Just because it's not your turn doesn't mean you're not involved in the game. I'm actually involved in everybody's turn much more than my own turns.
Yeah.
So
your actual turn is used to set up your real turns.
I call it the draw step, and then I move on. But yeah,
one could
definitely
say you draw for turn.
one could say this.
Yeah. So when it comes to any aspect of the game, just be mindful that there are other people playing. There are 3 other people playing the game with you, not just your one opponent. And you should just allow everyone to have as close to the same amount of game time as possible. And then I wanted to put one more bullet point in there. This is for when we can get back to live play. For the love of God, stop checking your cell phone in the middle of the game unless it's like dire.
That's a thing that I've never even realized was an issue till I started playing Commander, because I'm used to playing tournament constructed. Pull my phone out, I'm getting disqualified or a game loss or something, and I didn't realize that everyone uses their phone as a life counter in Commander and things like that, which makes sense.
Using your phone as a life counter is fine.
My life counter app right now, just like
Totally get it. Just
don't be
people.
messaging your friend. Don't be messaging your friends. Don't be looking at Twitter or whatever. Focus on the game. Like, the games go longer because people are checking their phone too much. If it's like when I try to play, I say, hey, listen, let's put our phones away. I'll use my phone as a life counter, and everyone else just just keep it away for a little while.
Yeah.
Put it in the middle so everyone can see it, and just like move on.
Phone jack.
All right, and that's it for bad habits and some bad habits and how to break them in Commander. Did we miss any or have any that you guys feel people need to break? Let us know on Twitter or in the comment section of the podcast.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I think we had a good list of topics to go over today for that. A lot of good stuff and a lot of good solutions. Are you guys feeling like a game of Commander today?
Yeah, I could be down. I barely ever get to play with EK and Swazi, so
Man, we haven't seen Swazi in like a month.
Maybe we could play a bit of a higher power game today since we have Steve here.
Well, let's get set up for a game, but on that note, let's do our closing segments, and I think we'll transition over to a little live play game. So, as always, guys, you can find us on Twitter at drawforturn and Instagram at drawforturnpodcast. We post weekly discussion topics, different polls and everything. So if you want to get on the conversation, drop a follow, hit us up at it, and let us know what maybe you want to see or what next topic you want us to talk about, card ideas, sets you're excited for, Commander deck brew ideas for.
We need a name for that segment too.
Yeah. So also little contest going on right now. Little transition. So we're looking for a name for our deck brewing session. We call it deck sculpting right now. We need a better name. So we're offering a prize. It's our love and admiration. You get a year's supply of nothing from the 4 of us, as well as a signed $20 Monopoly bill and some other prize that's like to be discussed at some point once we figure it out. But great prizes, great stuff. If you've got a name, shoot it at us on Twitter. Let us know what you think. The winner will be announced when we get some entries. We have a couple entries, but we want some more entries. So we'll run this for a couple weeks or so. But yeah.
Serious question, terms and conditions wise, is it $20 American or Canadian?
It's
$20 Monopoly Canadian. Yeah,
Okay.
$20 not Monopoly Canadian.
Monopoly money.
Just clarifying.
Yeah.
It'll be shiny. It'll look like Canadian money, but it's Monopoly money. So. But yeah, with that, guys, where can everyone find you at?
You can find me on Twitter at @DS_Adam. Shout outs to Top Deck Games in West New Jersey and the Comic Book Store in Glassboro, New Jersey, my place where I get my cards locally right now. Well, I always get them locally there, but shout outs regardless.
You can find me on Twitter and in Twitch chat at EK Plays Cards. Shout out to my local game store, Games Plus, in the Chicagoland area. I'm looking forward to going there on Friday and getting my double masters and opening those up on stream on Friday, ?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So look forward to that.
I'll be brief, but always shameless. At Swazo TV on Twitter and Twitch. Yeah.
And you guys can find me on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram at AstrosFlame. I'm going to be streaming MTG Arena, motivational talks, and some other games. Maybe some World of Warcraft raids when I actually remember to stream them. Friday nights, as always, I host our Commander Pods, our deck brewing sessions. And in the coming weeks, I will be doing a whole sponsored stream by Wizards of the Coast because, yeah, that happened. I totally forgot to announce that in the news, but that's fine. We'll go over that in another week or so. So yeah, we'll do a big MTG sponsor stream because I got sponsored to do like a week of streaming by Wizards of the Coast for MTG Arena. So, and shoutouts to Harry Tarantula and face-to-face games in the Toronto area for always being amazing. So as always, everyone, remember, untap, upkeep, support your local game store, and
Draw for
turn.
Turn.